Welcome to the Bo and Luke Show, a podcast designed to inspire you to be better, know better, and do better. You can connect with Bo and Luke on social media at The Bo and Luke Show, or send us an email at fanfeedback@theboandlukeshow.com. Brought to you by Sound United. Without further ado, let's get after it. Bo and Luke Nation, here we are with amazing guest. Mark Hyer's with us tonight for an episode where we're going to talk about all kinds of things, Luke. We're going to talk about what it's like to get laid off during the COVID pandemic. We're going to talk about what it's like to go through the ups and downs, but most importantly, build a system and bounce back, right?
Yep.
So Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell our listeners about yourself and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty laid back, pretty simple kind of guy. I'm somebody who kind of just enjoys his free time, enjoys riding motorcycles. I'm a big fan of learning and trying new things. And I enjoy helping people. So if I can help somebody with this, then that's always a plus.
That's super. What kind of motorcycles?
I'm a cruiser kind of guy. I'm not a big fan of the street bikes, but cruiser, something I can just kind of hop on and cruise around town with.
So like, what does that mean? I'm not, I would love to have a motorcycle at some point in my life, but I'm terrified of them. So like, so now I kind of want to get a jet ski just cause if
For sure. No, I get that. They're also fun.
Yeah. So cruiser. So what's the difference? So like, I know what a crotch rocket is.
Yeah. So that's going to be your sport bike, popping wheelies, going down the highway type thing. Not my style. Sure. A cruiser is going to be a smaller Harley Davidson kind of bike where you can hop on. It's probably not going to have a windshield. It's not going to have a back seat. Cool. You can put that kind of stuff on it. They're usually pretty bare. You could do some mods to them. You could beef them up. But just something that you may see around town, maybe riding around downtown or cruising through the city streets.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. So big fan of that. Definitely.
I can get down with that.
Yeah. They're nice, nice kind of relaxation and blowing off some steam. So yeah.
I heard they're awesome. They're awesome. Never ridden before.
So is it a Harley that you drive?
Yeah, I have a Harley.
Have you been to Bike Week in Daytona Beach?
No, that's too many people for me.
Gotcha.
That is a large crowd.
Yeah, that's a hell of a time.
Yeah, I've heard good things. That and I've been down to Myrtle Beach after it was about a week or two after their Bike Week, and it was still a lot of fun. So I can only imagine how much fun it was during the actual Bike Week.
Yeah, nice. So that's awesome. Mark, tell us. You were laid off during the height. I don't even know the height, the hill, whatever. COVID-19.
I would say it was a peak for sure.
Peak? Yeah,
for sure.
Tell us what what happened and what you did right after you were laid off. How you were feeling about that?
Honestly, April, March, when it all hit in March, everyone kind of had that sinking feeling like, all right, it might come, it's probably going to happen, especially when you're working in sales. Like it's just one thing that you kind of have to swallow that pill and hope it doesn't, but prepare for it for sure. April came when I was like, all right, cool. Made it through another month, had a great month. May came and went, had another, probably my best month. And then June, June. And, during the pandemic, obviously we're all working from home and we were doing team meetings instead of one-on-ones, just to make sure, the team environment was still up, collaboration as much as you could. And they were doing a fantastic job about it for sure. And I get a calendar invite for a one-on-one, and except it was like a legit one-on-one. And it was about a week before it happened. And I remember, how you get that feeling in the gut of your stomach, like, all right, this is not good. This is not going to end well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've all had it. And so, I was like, all right, this is probably going to happen. And I remember the meeting was at 11:30 a.m. and on a Tuesday. And I got a text message from a buddy of mine who worked on my team at about 11:15. It was like, all right, boys, just got laid off.
Oh, geez.
I was like, I got my meeting in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And, I appreciate the heads up. And sure enough, I logged into the call, and my manager and the VP of HR were sitting there, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it was. But it was for the best, because, you take those moments, and at the time it's just like, man, like, what am I going to do? Right. And it's almost just like, you want to just kind of hide in a shell almost. But you can't, right? You have to take a certain amount of time, and you can dwell on it for an amount of time for sure, but don't let it control the outcome, even of the full day. I don't, if you need a full day to kind of embrace it, or I don't even know if that's the right word, but just to get a hold of yourself, then fine, if you're able to. But if you think that day is going to continue into the next day or the rest of the week, then don't take that full day.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't let it just affect your mood. And
sure.
You just have to have a system. And luckily it was something that, my background in training and things like that, it helped me kind of build one, and
sure.
I put it to use.
Good. So Luke, what's the magic number for how long you can embrace the suck?
Dude, you get 90 seconds. 90 seconds. And you get to feel like shit about it for 90 seconds. Like really, really embrace it.
For sure.
And then it's done.
Yep.
Then you move on.
90 seconds is not a long time.
Well, we can't take credit for that. Who was that, Luke? Was that
Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. That's right. Well, you got to ask yourself, I mean, when you have those feelings, and I've learned this just from our listeners and everything else, you have to ask yourself the question, is this valuable? Is what I'm doing, or are these emotions valuable to what I'm doing? Is it useful to me moving forward? And we all know, like, feeling bad for yourself or feeling bad about something is not going to be useful.
For sure. It doesn't help you grow, right?
No.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that when you're in that moment, yeah, it sucks for sure. 100%. And, you take that 90 seconds, take that 5 minutes, but again, let me reiterate, don't let it affect yourself moving forward, because now you're just stuck and you're in that rut, and your wheels are just spinning. You're not going anywhere. And, you just have to pull yourself up and just move on. And I know it's harsh, but you have to understand that in order, this happened for a reason. And I believe it did, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's harsh, man, at all. I think, ever since the day we're born, we're learning how to do new things. And this is just one of those things that people they're not going to teach you it at work. Like, for some reason, a lot of people just don't learn how to deal with those type of emotions and move forward. I don't know why they don't teach it. Like, they didn't teach it to us in school or anything. That would have been probably more valuable than all the math I forgot. But
yeah, 100%.
That would be, you say that, but man, that would be a great course, right?
Yeah.
It's things they don't teach, right? From that and your personal finance and all those types of things. And can you imagine how the class would go about, this is what happens when you get laid off. This is how you're going to feel. And we're going to learn how to deal with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, that'd be a prep course, man. Like no other.
Hey, kids, here's how you deal with stress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds like common sense, but
for sure.
You would think there would be some sort of life class that you could kind of take. Even if it was an elective in school, right?
You would think.
Nope. No, you have to learn how to draw, if that's your thing.
It's like better. It'd be like more useful than like home ec, right?
For me, I agree, because I took it, and let me tell you, it is not good.
You took home ec?
I had to.
I did too.
It was a required course.
I loved it. I had a great time.
I enjoyed it, but man, do not eat my cooking. Don't do it. And the only reason why I know how to sew is because I was in the Army, and they teach you, and it's
One time in home ec, I remember this. So they had us do presentations, like a how-to video, or not a video, it was just a how-to presentation. So they made us do a presentation in front of the entire class, and I was just being a lazy ass because I didn't feel like doing, like, it was stupid to me, right? I'm like, so I did how to drink a glass of water, and then presented it to the class, and our teacher was so pissed.
She was mad, huh?
Oh, she was not happy.
How old were you? How old were you when you did that?
High school, man.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You have a group of high school students, and you say, "Give me a how-to presentation," and you have no parameters on it.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
I'm going to put how to drink a glass of water, how to write my name on a piece of paper. 100% going to do it.
Absolutely.
I learned the only thing I remember from home ec was learning how to make pasta from scratch. And that's a lot. Well, yes, but that's a long process. And in adulthood, I think I've maybe tried to repeat that process twice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it goes back to like, okay, you taught me, that's great, but am I going to use it? Maybe not. But the one that stuck with me, I wish I could remember the kid's name. 6th grade, we had like the same kind of thing. Like, how do you do something in class? And the kid came in and he taught us, he had his little Bunsen burner type of thing, and he made an omelet. That stuck with me, man. That is when at 6th grade by another kid, he taught us how to make an omelet. And I'm like, oh, that is cool. Right. Yeah. That's how I learned to make and it's delicious. That's how I learned to make an omelet. But wow, that's a great conversation. Mark, we've talked a lot on the show in the past about battle rhythm and building systems. But in your words, from your perspective, what does that mean to you? What did you do? How'd you do it?
Yeah. So when it happened, again, as I was saying before, it was something that, I let sit with me for a small amount of time, but I told myself, okay, it's Tuesday. I'm going to take Wednesday through Sunday, and I'm just going to focus on me, and I'm just going to, enjoy my time. Right. So, I went out on my motorcycle. I rode down to the beach. I just enjoyed the time off, because when are you going to be able to just take an unplanned vacation, even if it is a staycation again, right? So I embraced it, but I told myself, it was like, okay, come Monday, it's time to get back on that horse, and you can have your fun this week and focus on you and take this time to kind of decompress, and but also while you do that, don't let what happened affect you, because then it's going to affect everyone around you. And take this time to be positive, enjoy this time, and just focus on what you want moving forward. So Sunday night, what I did was I sat down and I planned out my days as if I would have going into the work week. It was 4:30, wake up, 5:30, go work out. And I blocked it off into little schedules. And, between 8 and 9, I researched companies. 9 to 9:30, I picked out the best ones that I wanted to apply to. 9:30 to 11:30, I sought out hiring managers on LinkedIn, sent out resumes. And it was everything that I did was deliberate. I wrote down in a spreadsheet of what I did and who I applied to, who I had reached out to, what stage I was in. And then from 12 to 1, it was really about 11:45 to 1. I took my lunch, went out for a walk. But again, 1 o'clock hit. It was as if I was at my desk again and dialing for dollars, if you will, and focusing on what I wanted. And I turned down job offers. It was just something like I told myself in the beginning. I was like, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to take a job just because I need it. So luckily I was in a spot where I didn't need to just hop on the first job offer. If I had done that, right, exactly. And I get, like, not everyone's in that position, but I was able to. And if you are able to, then man, take advantage of it and enjoy the process. I think Inky Johnson is the one who said it, but it's not about the view, it's about the process and the journey to get in there. And when you do that, when you can trust it, that's where you grow, right? You're not going to grow from the top of the mountain. You're going to enjoy it for sure. But what did you learn climbing that hill? What did you learn climbing that mountain? What did you learn from the days of getting rejected, getting those emails and those voicemails or those text messages? or being ghosted by these companies. And that's essentially was just like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
It's going to teach you resiliency, and it's going to teach you a lot. And, you have to just take it one day at a time, and don't kind of, don't let it upset you. And it's going to get frustrating for sure. But when you have that, I guess, rhythm, if you will, and, that routine, it's a little more, or it's a little harder to get frustrated because you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yep. I think one of the things that you said that is super important, and it's around the calendar blocking, and I'll explain the difference, right? So if you set on your calendar 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. career search
mm-hmm.
versus 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., what you did, researching companies, right? Or whatever that was. And then 9 to 10 p.m., I am doing networking to people in those companies versus if you just block the whole day, right, and you put career search, now you're going to be fumbling all around.
For sure. You have to be deliberate in everything you do. And I'm not talking when you get laid off. I'm talking at, your everyday job, and you have to be deliberate. You do, because then what if something comes up that's unexpected, because it's going to happen. Right. And you have to be able to pivot and say, okay, let me adjust this. I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to put this back here. You just have to be deliberate.
So I think that's a key point, Luke, don't you? That, for all of our listeners, be specific. Like when you start laying out your rhythm, your system for the day, have specificity in that calendar blocking, so that, even if you set it up the day prior, you set it up over the weekend, you get up Monday morning, you're not asking, okay, what was I going to do? What did career search mean? What was I going to do? Yeah, you were very specific. And then you're just reading your own task list.
That's it. You're getting notifications popping up in the top right hand of your laptop or your Mac, and
makes it much easier to execute.
You have predictable success. It's like you expected it because you put together a plan and you followed it. You didn't have to get lucky. You just created your own luck, and on a daily basis, you followed it, and lo and behold, look what happens. It's that simple. So first of all, I'm obsessed with sales. I've been in sales now since the last 12 years, I guess.
Longer than me.
Dude, long time.
Yeah, but you can probably give Luke some tips.
Dude, I will take all the tips I can.
I'll take the tips. I'm always interested in learning, for sure.
Dude, I need them. But I was thinking, so, we talk about sales, and it sucks that you got laid off, right? But you're in an industry and you have a skill where, look, companies aren't going to throw in the towel on business development because they need sales in order to stay afloat. Listeners, this might come as a shock, but companies need sales in order to get revenue, which then they pay everybody else, and they get success in their own paycheck.
And also, on top of that,
stable.
Luke, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
If you're in sales development and business development and you're getting hung up on, those companies that you're calling need this stuff. So don't give up. Keep going.
That's right. That's right. And I wanted to make people, hopefully there's some listeners out there. So before sales, I came from the restaurant industry,
another tough industry,
which has just gotten completely decimated by the pandemic. And it's not coming back anytime soon. I mean, now we're going into another curve here, probably, or whatever, but it's different for every state. But anyways, I think those people are going to be a great match just because they're used to people, you standing in between somebody and their plate of food, right? They're not the happiest all the time. You learn customer service. It's sales. What would you say to those folks that, are worried about dipping their toe in that sales jacuzzi?
Man, I would ask them how they felt on their first day, especially if they were in the restaurant industry. How did they feel the first time they messed up an order? You went out there and you owned it. So do it. Just own it. You're going to mess up. Don't go in there and act as if you know everything, because you don't. Be a sponge. Ask those questions that not everyone else is asking. Go to these top performers and soak it all in, but just do it, because it's a blast. It really is.
It's great, isn't it?
It's very, very rewarding, for sure.
Dude, That's
is awesome.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything else now.
No. And I was in the military, I was in law enforcement. And it was like, I loved all that stuff, but, sales it's a different kind of drive. It really is.
Yeah.
You're going to have bad months. But you just you have to embrace it, and you can't look at those bad months as the be all end all. Right. And you have to look at those bad months as like, okay, what did I do on say it's the 31st of the month or the 30th of the month, and it's the very last day. And like, there's no way I'm hitting quota this month. What did I do, or what did not do this month that I can or cannot do next month, in order to be better?
Right.
And that goes with anything, right? Sales is so relative to everything that you do. So yeah, it's just one of those things that if you're thinking about it, do it.
Yeah,
I agree.
So Mark, when you joined the Army, you got out of the Army, and when that happened, something significant, another like life-changing event happened that you had to pull yourself out of. What was that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I had actually ballooned up to, I'm thinking this weird.
Yeah, it is.
I think this is what we're getting at. Yeah. So I was missing something in my life, and I didn't know what it was. But I think it was just the transition of leaving the military, not having that mission that service members are kind of accustomed to. Man, I went from probably about 175 to about 350 pounds.
Wow.
And it was quick. And I maintained 350 because I didn't think I was that big. And to the listeners out there, I'm only 5'9", 5'8 and a half. So I was big. I was not a healthy guy. And I remember there was one night, one morning I woke up and I was about 26. And my chest was like, I felt like just a giant pressure on my chest. I was 26 years old, and that wasn't even a wake up call for me. I woke up and I went to McDonald's.
Wow.
For breakfast. And, it just goes to show, like, if you don't want to do it, or if it's not a priority, you're not going to make it a priority. And it goes back to, fitting it into your schedule, right? If you want to fit it into your schedule, you will. And I remember the way my apartment was set up the morning that it was like looking at myself again for the first time in years. I was walking down my apartment and I remember looking in the mirror. And again, like I said, it was like looking at myself for the first time. And I was like, what happened? It was like an awakening almost. And I went into my kitchen and I didn't go to McDonald's because I felt sorry for myself. I threw everything out, went to the grocery store, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I needed to do something. Right. Yeah. So I went, bought eggs, turkey burgers, salad stuff, and just was like, this is how I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. So yeah. And it took me about a year to a year and a half to kind of get down to a healthy weight again. And now it's just about improving.
I would say that's nuts, man. Congrats, by the way.
I appreciate it.
So one question I have, especially for our listeners out there, is there's so much like, I don't know, crazy shit you can do for diets. Like, did you do anything like extreme, or is just this like consistent, slow and steady wins the race type of thing?
Yeah, well, people have to understand, and this is the issue, is no two bodies are the same, right? So Bo, sure, you and I could eat the same thing. Luke, you and I could eat the same thing. We could do the same workouts every single day. We're still going to look completely different. So you have to find something that's going to work for you. Sure. And so a keto diet may be best for me or may not be best for me, or Atkins or whatever you want to do, right? But the key is to find something that you can do and stick with it. Whether it's any of those fad diets, if you will, or if it's just something like cutting calories to a healthy sure, cut. And that's what it's about. And again, when people first start on that journey, they're going to lose that weight very quickly. So they're pumped up, they're motivated, they're ready to keep going. And then all of a sudden, boom, plateau. that is the killer, because then it's like, well, it's been a week. Okay, fine. I can last another week. Let me see what's going on. Let me change this up. Or, they're still kind of doing the same thing. So they don't know that they have to incorporate a little more protein or a little less carbs or a little more carbs because they're working out more, whatever the case may be. Or they have to switch up a workout or whatever it is. Right. And it's that plateau, the longer it goes, the more frustrated you're going to get. Again, it's about doing the research and figuring out what's going on. And just working at it and just getting better and improving. And you guys say it, right? It's about being better and that constant drive to improve. So, yeah.
I want to ask you a question, if I may.
For sure.
So even for me personally, gaining weight is simple. It takes no time at all. If I wanted to put on 10 pounds, I could probably do it by Monday.
Oh, for sure. Pizzas and burgers. Yeah.
Yeah. No time at all. All about the numbers. But I know for me, over the span of my life, and I've probably always carried an extra 10 or 20 pounds that I shouldn't have, which isn't much. But I know when I start to gain weight, right, I will get to a point, and it's usually about the 20 pounds above where I should be, right? So you'll go in this roller coaster type thing. And then when I hit that point, it's like I have triggers that say, oh, this has got to stop. Right.
Yep.
So I've often wondered in a very, trying to get from an empathetic type of position for others who struggle with weight.
For sure.
Did any trigger like that ever hit you, or did it hit you and you just went past it because of life circumstances?
You mean when I was at my heaviest, or?
So like when you were on that journey of you separated from the military and you went from 175. So like when you got to 200 or to 225, did any of those things ever pop up in your mind?
No.
Really?
Yeah. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Cause like even now, I'm not perfect, right? Life gets in the way. I may kind of sacrifice my workouts or my fitness or, the healthy lifestyle. And, because work or whatever, right? Life happens. It's just about having that discipline to get back on the board. But there was so much that I was struggling with after I left the military, relationship ending, a long-term relationship ending, leaving the military. I had gotten into some trouble, just stupid trouble. And it was just something that I just never noticed because I had so much other stuff to deal with, but it was all my own issues, right? Like transition to the military. Yeah, it sucks, but you know what? There are other people out there and there are resources out there. I didn't seek that help. I didn't seek those things out to make myself better. Relationship ending. Yeah, it sucks, but you know what? It's over. Now what about me, right? I just spent X amount of years focusing on two people. Now it's time to just focus on one person's a lot easier. Or so you think, or you should, right? And then it was, getting into the trouble and it was just, again, my fault. Like I did these things, but I was being selfish in the fact that I was blaming other people around me. So no, when it comes to those triggers, like it wasn't a thing. Yeah.
It wasn't a thing, huh?
Unfortunately not.
So once you go through your whole process, you get back to the gym, you're losing the weight. And where are you today? Today
I'm about 205 to 210. Once I hit around 215, then I'm like, shirt's starting to feel a little tighter. Starting to get a little sleepier during the day.
So do you think that's now because you're paying attention to it and you've been where you never want to go again?
Yeah. Oh,
is that what's happening? You think?
Yeah,
maybe?
100%. And again, you're more, just conscious of it all. And, like, it doesn't matter what else is going on around you. Even when I got laid off, man, what an excuse just to sleep in and
no kidding. And
just feel sorry for yourself. Right. Everyone's going through it. Like, let me just feel sorry for myself. But no, like you just have to be deliberate in your everyday approach. And, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Those triggers definitely, they happen. And it's kind of your mind telling you like, Hey, Mark, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I want to, before we forget, so we don't mention it,
Yeah.
to make sure that we do mention it, we don't forget to mention it. Make sure I say that right. When you were laid off in June and you started this process and you're calendar blocking and you're getting up every day like it's a job to get this done.
Yeah.
How long did you execute that daily rhythm before?
4 months.
4 months.
4 months. Yep.
Yep.
Trust me, I had my bad days, man. I did. It was, it was just came out of the blue. Right. And I think it was just one of those things that like, I did everything I was supposed to do. I had made the connections I needed to make. I talked to the people I needed to talk to. And I had actually gotten a message from a company. They're like, hey, look, we're looking for contract help. And I was like, all right, hey, better than nothing. And I told them straight up, I was like, hey, listen, like, I know this is a contract gig, so I'm still going to be interviewing. I still have things I have to do to make sure I'm set up beyond this, because there's no guarantee. And they're like, no, we get it. No problem. And the first week, I mean, honestly, I left the first day and I was like, damn, I wouldn't mind a job offer from this company. And it just, everything worked out. And at the end of the first week, they held a little mini like office conference type thing to kind of go over the numbers. Obviously it wasn't a great year for any company, and unless you're Amazon. And they were like, okay, here's our plan moving forward. Part of that plan is we want to build a sales development, business development team. And the first thing we need to do is hire a sales development manager / business development manager. And I was like, oh, hey, wait a second. And normally I would have just emailed something right to the hiring manager, who I thought was going to be the hiring manager, but I was like, no, absolutely not. So I went into the director's office and I was like, hey, I won't mention any name, but I was like, hey, I know I've only been here a few days, but here's my LinkedIn, here's my resume. I would be a great fit for this. And if you want to have a conversation, I respect it. I think we should talk about this.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, I got a job offer.
Yeah, nice. Man, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to bet on yourself, man. And I am luckily and blessed to have the opportunity that I have right now to build out an entire program. And I've never built out a program like this, but man, I'm excited. And it's all about growth, and you have to bet on yourself. You do.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I love that. Yeah. And that's the way to get hired. Like, who wants to hire a business development manager that's afraid to go ask for the business?
Yeah.
Hey, that's
right.
That's a great
100%.
I've always had this theory, Mark, and you can steal it too when you hire people,
Yeah.
But I was thinking, so if you're going to hire salespeople, why not tell everybody no?
Yeah.
And then the people that come back and won't take that first no for an answer, then you move them through the process and then hire them. Because why would you want to hire someone that takes the first no anyways?
Yeah, no, I love it. I do. Because honestly, and I'll tell you kind of like my method, right, is when I was cold calling, it was, chances are you're going to give me a quick no. I'm going to shoot for a quick no. Yep. Or I want you to hang up on me as fast as you can, because I don't want to waste my time.
Yep.
But what I'm going to do is I'm hoping, and you're probably not going to remember me within a week or two. Guess who's going to be calling you back? Hi, my name is Mark. You don't remember me, but we spoke a few weeks ago. And I'm going to change up my approach. I'm going to change things up. And it's about going for it. And you can't take that first no. But, you have to also understand that sometimes the no is a no.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true. If you have a great conversation at the end of it, it's still a no. Well, hey, you gave it your best. Maybe it's just not the right time.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I agree with that.
I appreciate it.
So, Mark, any parting thoughts, any best practices, words of encouragement, inspiration you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah. There's a little quote that I really enjoy. I actually found the quote when, I was going through that weight loss journey, and, it resonated with me when I got laid off, but it pretty much states that, it says, on the days you feel like giving up, remember why you started. And it's just one of those things, like, you get laid off during a pandemic, there's 10 million other people out of jobs, and the competition stuff, but remember why you want to grow, right? Whether it's for the people in your life, whether it's for you, whether it's for your future, whether it's to make a lot of money, or whether it's to lose a bunch of weight, during a weight loss journey. Just remember why you started. And if you can do that, you're going to be fine.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Bo and Luke Nation, you heard it right here from Mark Hyer.
Yeah.
Luke, any parting thoughts?
Dude, you're awesome, man. Keep it going. Keep the sales going strong.
Thank you.
Lots of respect to you. You got always a brother here to wrap on stuff if you ever want to, man.
I appreciate that, Luke. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thanks for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. Seriously.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, man. Bo and Luke Nation, that's a wrap. Tune in for a new episode every Thursday. You can subscribe to our email newsletter for information on upcoming guests, giveaways, and more. Rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to our sponsor, Sound United, for quality broadcast audio throughout Season 2.